Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Glory Reds podcast. It's your boy, Don Benito. And in today's episodes, we're going to be tackling a lot of topics. Well, not a lot, but it's just going to be broadened because we have a defensive situation. I remember in one of my episodes, I talked about the defensive dilemma at Manchester United. So now we're going to talk a little bit more about that as well. We're going to talk about De Ligt. We're going to talk about the Yoro injury, how that can potentially affect Manchester United moving forward from now. Um, and yeah, let me just dive straight into it because this for me seems like a defensive situation that I just can't seem to get my head or wrap my head around it because right now, as it stands, Yoro is injured. We do not know the extent of his injury because these guys have not yet come out and told us exactly how how his injury is because we don't know. But one thing that we can confirm is that he is wearing a protective boot as it is right now. And that doesn't look like a good sign for Manchester United. Because with him out, it leaves Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans as the only fit centre backs. Lindelof apparently had sustained a small injury, which I didn't know because I asked myself, because there was an article that said that Lindelof is back in full training and it confused me. And I was like, okay, so, like, isn't that what he's supposed to be doing? Isn't he supposed to be in training? But what I didn't know is that he was injured. And in my mind, I thought that we were trying to get rid of certain players. I thought that Lindelof was one of the defenders that could have been going out, that could have been on his way out. But it didn't seem so. So when they said that now Lindelof is back to full training, I was like, so we're not selling any fucking defender. That's what it means. But as it turns out, he was injured and he's just come back into full training. So that makes only three center backs, two and one, and then of course with the academy players. But we're talking about seniors. That has now caused kind of a situation at Manchester United because now Wagwan. What do we do? Gerard Branthwaite was a player that we were linked to. Matthias de Ligt we were linked to. And these two players all have different stories. De Ligt. De Ligt has already agreed verbally with Manchester United to come to Manchester United. This guy is waiting to reunite with the gaffer. Remember that amazing season that he had at Ajax, where he led them to the Champions League semi-final, where I think he won the Eredivisie with them, and he was the captain. He had Donny van der Beek, he had Alvarez, he had Bucha, he had a lot of players. Like a lot of those players, those players that played for the Ajax team have scattered. But that was the time. That was the De Ligt time. Remember the De Ligt that we were looking at and we were like, this is an 18-year-old. Was it 18 or 16? He was 18. We're like, this is a guy leading a club as big as Ajax. Taking it by, like, putting the responsibility on his shoulders and taking his team forward. That was De Ligt. So we have already agreed terms, like this, like, hey, I choose, hey, my guy, listen, we want you here, one. Like, you come to United, you do the thing for us here. Those guys, they don't want you. Sure. But you gotta highlight my people. You gotta highlight Bayern, the Bavarians, speak to them. Yeah. That's where we are right now. Manchester United and Bayern Munich need to come to an agreement on a fee. And these guys are not willing to sell their player who they just bought for, I think, 2 years ago for about 60 mil. They're not willing for him to go for cheap. So there is going to be a situation in that department, especially with the Matthias de Ligt. I don't know how we're going to get this deal done, but we need to get it done. We need to get this Matthias de Ligt deal done. Like, we need to get another centre back, especially now that we've seen with what's his name, Yoro, picking up an injury. Like, we need to start doing damage control. We don't need to panic, because we do have the players, but we need to get at least two center backs in the beginning of this season. We're not going into next season with a lot more dead weight. We need more fresh players into our squad. And then the Maguire and Evans situation. Those are only two center backs right now that are fit for us. Remember, Harry Maguire said that he's not leaving. He said that he's had the talks with the manager, with the gaffer, that he's part of the team and he's not going anywhere. So Harry Maguire, like honestly, on that situation, on that front, Harry Maguire, whether he leaves or goes, like that's not really going to move me because we are moving in a different direction. But I feel like it is hindering our progress because if these guys are going to be like, nah, I want to stay here and fight for my position, and we want to sell because we need to bring in players, that's where the issue is. So I think in times like this, that's when Manchester United need to put their foot down and say, you know what, y'all need to get you out. You out. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just my thought process in that situation. So Manchester United right now need to fix our deal. Like they need to come up with a plan. Like they shouldn't think like, okay, right now we don't know the extent of Lenny Yoro's injury. We don't know whether he's going to be able to. We don't know whether he's going to start beginning of the season. We don't know if it was a small knock or if it's something that he can shake it off and be ready to start the season. We don't know. Now, God forbid something like that happens, right? We need to be thinking ahead of that. We don't want to be in a situation where we're like, okay, we realize that now this guy was there was an injury, but we didn't fix the situation. Now we want to start the season right. We've been talking since the beginning that this preseason is very, very delicate because the past two preseasons that we've had under Eric Ten Hag, there has been some weird shit that never made sense. And when we go into the league, starting off, like when we start the league, we look like we've been playing. It looks like we've played a season already. I don't know if that makes any sense. It looks like we've just now. It looked like we had just gone through a run of tough games, like we're playing top six, and it's weird. So this season, this beginning of this season, we're trying to fix that. We're not trying to do manga and all that nonsense. Now we're trying to fix this situation. So the Lenny Yoro scare, and obviously I mean, I get it. They were not we were not expecting Lenny Yoro to be injured. Like we didn't expect him. But that stupid SoFi pitch in America, that did it to him. But we need to get somebody in, be it De Ligt, be it Branthwaite, be it Antonio Silva. We need to get another defender in. One in is not enough. It's not enough. Wan-Bissaka has already agreed personal terms with West Ham. This is news on the backside. You know, they're saying that he has agreed personal terms. So it looks like Wan-Bissaka is on his way out. But then the Wan-Bissaka deal is going to be complemented by Mazraoui coming in. Do you understand? So we need to do the whole you know what I mean? So I'm excited about that. Like I'm always gonna give a shout out to Wan-Bissaka, you know, because one of my favorite defenders. I like the way he defends. Sad that he has to go, but my guy, adios. Like it was time. You know, unfortunately for you, they picked you, but you had to be the one that leaves. And then last but not least, I thought I should add this because I never mentioned it in the in the beginning of the show, but Shola Tire has left Manchester United permanently and has joined Greek champions PAOK. If I'm not mistaken, this PAOK team, I think my countrymate Ali Mbwana Samata was playing there last season. I don't know if he's even still there, but I'll do my research. But they were the Greek champions, and Shola Tire has moved to Greece, guys. You know, Shola Tire is another youngster who, I swear to God, like in the beginning, it looked like this boy was destined for greatness. I still believe he's destined for greatness, but he reminds me, like his departure from Manchester United. It reminds me of a certain player that Pastor D used to love, and I don't know if some of you still remember this guy, but Angel Gomez. Remember Angel Gomez? Oh, that was Pastor D's boy. But you wouldn't tell Pastor D nothing about Angel Gomez. And I just feel like Angel Gomez's departure, like this departure with Shola Tire, is kind of like the same. Because, yeah, I mean, like he was supposed to be breaking into the team right now, but it's not going. It's tough. The positions that he occupies are tough. Like, do you think Shola Tire can bench Bruno Fernandes? Do you think he can bench Rashford? Do you think he can bench Garnacho? Like, already failing to deal with like, nah, it's unfortunate. So he has left. I don't know if we've included a buyback clause like we have done with apparently Mason Greenwood, which I don't understand why, but it made me happy because I love Greenwood and I want Greenwood back at Manchester United. And I don't care what people say. Like, listen, it's cool. This is my opinion. I like Greenwood, and yeah. So it's sad when you lose players, especially players that you've been watching for a long time. Shola Tiro, we've been paying attention to him for a while. Like, he's been on the scene for a minute. You know, if I'm not, like, correct me if I'm wrong, like, was he not he was in the same team as Greenwood at some point? Like, it's just unfortunate. It just didn't work out for Shola Tiro at Manchester United. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. Manchester United is a big club. You win some, you lose some. This is the problem and the issue that we are facing at Manchester United. You see the sentiment that I have for Shola Tire, where I'm like, oh my God, you know, he could have done that, he could have done that, but he didn't. And that's what we need to cultivate. Like, yes, we understand that these people came from the academy, but we need to come to terms with reality. Like, listen, at the end of the day, these guys are football players, and football players need to produce. And if you don't produce, Hades. If you don't train, Hades. If you don't play, Hades. Now, I am hoping I'll be keeping an eye on him, because if my countryman there, Ali Mbwana Samata, is still in power, then it gives me an excuse to watch them. You know, it gives me an excuse to tune in on those games and check Ali Samata and check Shola Tire, see what he's doing. You know, I have my teams. You see, like, I've already set up my Fenerbahce um fixture rust. Like, I'll be watching all Fenerbahce games this coming season. You know why? Because of the special one. But that's a story for another day. Mason Greenwood, Marseille, I'm there. You know, I'm seeing Marseille trying to bring Edin Ketia. That made me happy because another English boy is going to be there with Mason Greenwood. I'm happy. I'm happy. Those boys are going to tear up the French league. Believe it. Mbappe is gone. Mbappe is gone. It's open. It's free game for everybody in that Farmers League. So I'm excited. I'm really, really excited. And as for Manchester United, you know, this confusion that's going on with this defensive situation is quite crazy. And you know what makes it even worse? Not worse in the sense that this thing is a bad situation. Nah. The thing that makes it even more difficult is the fact that these guys are still on tour. Being on tour actually makes it a little bit challenging, to say the least. Whether it is to bring in players or to get deals done, I believe that it is making it a little bit challenging. So, with regards to that, I know I said it's going to be a busy week, saying that things are going to happen. Things could still happen. I still believe things are going to happen. But don't start coming and say, hey, Benito, hey, man, you said that's going to be there. Nah, listen. We are going with what's being put out there. The news and the information that's coming at us, we're reading it and interpreting it the way it's coming to us, and we're trying to deliver the news to you. So when I said that this is going to be a busy week, I genuinely felt like it was going to be a busy week. And it is. Think about it, because now we've got Obi, you know, and then there's another, you know. So yeah, thank you everybody for listening to the Glory Reds podcast. It's your boy, Don Benito. Please don't forget to subscribe. Help us get to 50 subscribers, my people. 50! Guys, come on. We really, really appreciate your contribution. We appreciate you guys listening, taking your time to listen to us, because this is all about taking your time. So thank you for giving us your time to listen to the Glory Reds podcast. It's your boy Don Benito, and I'm out. Peace.